I got out on Friday the 13th last week in hopes of scoring some June powder before the sun wreaked havoc on it. Departure from the trailhead just before 5 seemed a little late, considering temperatures in the valley were predicted to hit 70. Reed and I made our way back into the winter wonderland of Paintbrush Canyon. Though the creeks are flowing high, an immense snowpack lingers for this time in June. The new snow seems to be sticking to everything, like this smear on the north side of Rockchuck Peak. Some lingering valley fog added some nice atmosphere to the morning. Our goal was to ski these two south-facing lines on Mount Woodring, the one on the right being a little spicier. We had been going for about 2.5 hours straight at this point, and I was dying for a break and some breakfast. While we refueled, we admired the amount of new snow, easily over 12 inches at about 8,500 feet. Not too long after, we found ourselves skinning up the south face, our first objective. The skinning was a little tricky, with soft snow on top of a firm surface. We used our ski crampons for as long as we could before we transitioned to boot pack, the Grand Teton looming behind us the entire way. We found some steeper booting the higher we went. As we neared the ridge, we had hopes that we were close to the summit. Crossing over some rocks to the south, we accessed our south-facing line. I started the descent making a big traverse to the west in order to ski the far skier's right-hand side of the line. And readers did just the same soon afterwards. The snow and slope looked awesome, and I was amped to ski. This was my first run testing out some Dynafit Manitou skis coming out next season, and they held their own, ripping up the creamy powder. Further down, I could feel the slough nipping at my tails, so I pulled over to let it go by. Reed scoring some of his own June goodness. After about 2,000 feet of skiing, the snow turned a bit more potatoey, and we simul-skied down to Holly Lake to have lunch and feel the buzz that filled our bodies from such a great run in the middle of June. We had hoped to benefit from the already set skin and boot track on the second lap to the top, but increasing winds had already filled them in. This time, skiing off the summit proper, our line was a little more directly south-facing, and due to the late hour of the day, had already seen some effects of the sun, and was littered with pinwheels from the snow we had kicked off from the traverse to the summit. The line was a big funnel pinching down to a rocky choke. Reed heads further down to investigate. As I skied down into the narrows, I questioned the cleanness of the line, so I traversed right and eyeballed what was to come. Though hard to see, it looked like there was an exit to the skier's right over some thinly covered shark fin-like rocks. After a while, it was time to commit, so I skied further down above the choke. And then I cut skier's right to avoid the icy cliffs below. After hooking up with Reed, I started to make my way down, noting a route through the thinly covered rocks. Slow and cautious skiing brought me to a notch where I could make my way through. A little bit of side slipping, and back into more open terrain. From a distance, I watched Reed pick his way through the rocks and checked out the icy cliffs we were avoiding. Though we were out of the high mountains, there were still some tricky areas to maneuver, and the snow was getting wetter and wetter by the minute. But on the way, we found some fun skiing on some cool terrain. Unfortunately, as we were crossing some rocks and in poor style, I slipped and went down hard. We skied some more fun wind features as we lost elevation, being sure to stay away from the wet and powerful sloughs that would follow us down the slope. Due to the wet conditions, the best skiing was to be had on the area where the sloughs had pounded the slope. Challenging but fun skiing brought us further downward into the canyon. Having to negotiate the large quantity of debris on the way. But soon we were back into open slopes, letting them run, and then following the path we had come in on, scoring more Teton-style hiking on the dry trail, with the pavement putting the finishing touches on the sore toes. Thanks for watching. Live to ski.